GolfNewsRI presents the Golf Dudes Podcast. Here are the dudes.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Golf Dudes Podcast. Joe Calabro here. Happy December 1st today, and it's to be quite windy out. So I hope everyone's having a great Thursday so far. Hope everyone is having a great week, and we are certainly continuing to have a fun time here at GolfNewsRI. So thanks to everybody for following along. Just me today, and a few things to get to, and then we're going to show you episode 2 of Fit for Golf with Michael Edwards. So that's coming up in just a bit, but a few news items, a few housekeeping items, and then we'll be on our way. So again, thanks to everybody for following along, and hope everyone's having a great Thursday. And obviously, I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving as well. Obviously, we were off last week, so hope everyone had a great time with friends and family and whoever else. So there's that. So a few housekeeping items to keep a watch for. Obviously, December is the last month of the year. We all know this. So we have a handful of end of year things coming out. Last year I did some of our top stories, top course reviews, kind of things like of that nature. I will be doing that again, obviously, once it gets closer to the last week or two of the year. So we'll have some of that stuff up. It's interesting content. Obviously, there's been a lot of significant stories this year on a local level, so those will all be included in some way, shape, or form. We're also planning out a big end of the year hype video, if you will, recapping where we've been and the US Open and Live Golf, and obviously the local stuff as well. So keep an eye on that. I think the tentative plan for that is to run it during the week between Christmas and New Year's. But I'll let you know that for sure. But I think that's a tentative plan. We actually have a meeting on Friday on it. So there's that. So that's gonna be really exciting. It should be really cool. Again, it's gonna be like a hype video / year in review video. So looking forward to that. And then the other big thing that we have is the survey. Obviously, we've been pushing the handicap survey over the last few weeks. We might do one more push of it this weekend, and then that's pretty much going to be it, at least for now. We'll deactivate it, and then we're going to put out the results. We are working on coming up with a way to do it that's fun, that's innovative, and that everybody can follow, and that we can also enhance the information on it as well. So that should be coming out in the next 2 weeks, I would say. We're gonna have that out before the holidays. So there'll be multiple stories on that. There'll be, obviously, we're gonna take a screenshot of all the data. I'll put that in a slideshow. That'll be one story, and then there'll be one or two more stories on the unveiling of the data and kind of what it means and etc. So excuse me. So keep an eye out for those two things. So again, the year in review video will be toward the very end of the month, probably last week or so, tentatively. And then we have the survey that we're finally unveiling the results. And if you haven't done the survey, be sure to do it. We'll try to push out again this weekend. And then that will probably be it. At least for now. We can always bring it back later and let it continue to build up data. But at least for now, this weekend will probably be the last chance to do the survey if you haven't done it already. So really, some really cool data. We're really looking forward to diving into it, and that'll come your way in a few weeks. So that is what we have as far as housekeeping items. Also, while we're here at it, thanks to everybody for the Black Friday shopping. So our pinned holiday special has been pretty successful so far. So keep that going. Again, 20% off everything in their store. So you don't necessarily even have to buy a rangefinder. You can buy they have all kinds of merch and cool hats and all kinds of other stuff as well. So keep that going. And then obviously we have our own pro shop and the other Black Friday deals that we promoted So thanks to everybody for that. And obviously, as we get into the shopping season now for Christmas, be sure to keep these things in mind. Not only our own pro shop, obviously, but Pinned and Greenside Golf and Clockett Golf and other places, other local businesses as well. So there's that. So now we're done with the housekeeping portion of the program. So a couple of news items that was interesting this week. Obviously, it's November, the end of December. There's not exactly a ton of stuff going on. We do have Patrick Walsh playing in the College Golf Showcase coming up, I believe, next week. I believe it's on TV next week. So we'll be obviously keep an eye on that. But a couple of news items. Pat Sheehan is playing in Q School next week. Champions Tour Q School, that is, obviously. And that's from December 6th to December 9th. The top player gets there's 5 fully exempt spots, and everybody else will be eligible to play in qualifying events for the Champions Tour. So we'll keep an eye on Pat Sheehan, obviously from Rhode Island, went to Pilgrim High School. Then he went to the University of Hartford, which is where I went to school. So that's kind of cool. So we'll keep an eye on that next week. That's December 6th to December 9th. He's on the Champions Tour. Other notables on the Champions Tour, as we mentioned in our article, were Fran Quinn, Owen Brown, Bob May, and Brandel Chambly, or other notables in Champions Tour Q School, I mean to say, is Fran Quinn, Owen Brown, etc. So good luck to all those guys. Obviously, special good luck to Pat Sheehan, and again, we'll track that starting next week. So super excited to follow that. It's been quite a run through Q School for us, as far as following Davis and Chris and Will, and now following kind of the end ish of Pat Sheehan's Champions Tour Q School journey. So we'll keep an eye on that next week. Some cool data from the National Golf Foundation. I think their charts are so cool. They do such a great job. And so I put that up the other day, or yesterday, with golf rounds being down 10% in New England, but it's kind of down across the nation, if you will. So all right, sorry, I was we'll unveil it later, but I believe we've added an advertiser, so I was just dealing with that. So people text you when you're on the podcast. Anyway, but we'll have more details on that announcement later. I just kind of broke the news, but anyway, where was it? Oh, the National Golf Foundation. Yeah, they have some really cool data. We used to do more of it back during the COVID times. They had more stuff about courses that were open for play and things of that nature. Obviously, there's no longer a need for that. But so we used to use them a lot more back during when we first started, and content was kind of lacking. But we'll try to do more with them, more with their data, more with their charts. Their maps are really cool, obviously, as you all see. So there's that. Other things going on. Obviously, the PGA Tour returns this week, sort of, with the Hero World Challenge. Super disappointing that Tiger wasn't playing. Obviously, I was looking forward to that. We were looking forward to that as a news organization. From starting Monday, but he's out. He still held his press conference on Tuesday, and so certainly said some interesting things. He's obviously out with plantar fasciitis. I guess a positive of it, if there is such thing, a positive is that he got the plantar fasciitis because he was working on his game, working out, walking courses, and he's really pushing himself to be ready for this tournament, and then obviously for next season. So I guess there's a positive of it is that he's trying to put in the work. So again, it came back to bite him. Maybe he pushed too far, but if there is some positive, is that he's actually been putting in the work, trying to be ready to play. So I guess take that for what you will. But I look at that little piece as a positive. So the tournament obviously is a great field. Spieth, Thomas, John Rahm, all these guys are playing, so we'll have some coverage of that. If something crazy happens. The course is should be playing relatively easy, so the scores are going to be high. Again, it's kind of the silly season of golf, especially not only for everybody locally, but on the PGA Tour. So they're not exactly playing like the toughest courses in the world, but obviously they're playing nice courses. So we'll have some coverage of that over the weekend, but no Tiger was kind of disappointing. The other thing that was interesting, I thought, well, a couple of things that was interesting from his press conference. One, he was asked about LIV, as all these guys are, and he said that he thinks there's room for negotiations and some sort of compromise to take place, but Greg Norman has to go. Now this comes after Roy McIlroy said a couple weeks ago or whatever it was that Roy also said that Greg has to go. So I'm not sure that's going to have any impact. I'm not sure Greg Norman is going anywhere. I know there's been reports of it from other people, but nothing's actually ever happened. And I believe the LIV Golf has come out and said that those are not true, and Greg Norman is the CEO. I kind of agree with what Justin Thomas said in his presser. I believe it was yesterday. I kind of agree with him that neither side really is trying to really, or you see that the LIV side isn't really trying to make peace. I would extend that to both. I don't think either side really is trying to make an effort to make peace, if you will. I think both of them are kind of set in their ways, and they're just going to keep dragging this on. It feels like that. So we'll see. I mean, it's fascinating content, so I've enjoyed it. We haven't posted every single LIV versus PGA story because it's just not necessary. But it certainly has been interesting for sure. And hopefully it kind of stays interesting. LIV announced their schedule. They're not coming into New England next year. They did steal the Mayakoba golf course from the PGA Tour schedule. Mayakoba was a PGA Tour tournament or hosted a PGA Tour tournament anyways. And in fact, I think they just happened like a month or two ago, right? The Mayakoba Classic, wasn't that a month ago? Or so. That was a big get for LIV. And also Valderrama. I guess I never heard of it. Well, that's not true. I've heard of it, I'm just not that familiar with it. But that's a big course in Europe, and LIV got that one to host a tournament as well. So yeah, so there's that. So that's the PGA LIV stuff. It's going to continue. LIV season starts, I believe, in February, they said. And the PGA Tour starts obviously in January. So these battles will continue. Will anybody else jump ship? It's hard to say. It's been rumored for a while that Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay were going to go. Obviously, they're best friends. So if one of them goes, the other one is most likely going. At least it feels that way. But Schauffele came out and said that's not true, and he's never said anything like that or hinted that to anybody or anything of that nature. So take that for us, that's been a rumor flying around, but it's certainly been an interesting battle, and it's these guys are going to continue to be asked about it, and I'm not sure if anything's really going to happen as far as a compromise. I think it's probably best for the game if there's a compromise of some sort, but we'll see. Like I said, I agree generally with what Justin Thomas said on Wednesday, but I would extend it and say neither side really seems like they're trying to compromise. I mean, they're both suing each other. So, like, as Tiger said, the first thing that has to happen is the lawsuits have to be dropped before there's any conversation. So it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. So The good news is Tiger's playing 2 more times this year. Supposedly, he's playing next week in the match against it's him and Rory against Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, so that should be fun. I'm kind of sick of the matches. I thought they've kind of gotten boring, but I'll certainly watch it. And this one's interesting just because Tiger and you don't get to see him a lot, and it's the 4 of them are kind of like the 4 best friends that anybody could have. So it should be interesting. I guess we'll see. I thought the last match they did between Brooks and Bryson was totally stupid and totally boring. And I thought the other ones were kind of as well. So we'll see if this is interesting. If it's not, then we'll say it's not. But that's next week. And then the week after that is obviously the much anticipated PNC Championship with, parents playing with their kids or their dads. In this case of Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, Tiger is obviously playing with Charlie. Annika Sorenstam is playing with her son, and various other people are playing. The Dailies, of course, are playing defending champions. So that's something to look forward to, as well as we go through the month of December. So that's what we have. This has been the Golf Dudes podcast. So now let's. I know it's been out for a while, so perhaps people have already seen it, but let's go to Michael Edwards now. We taped episode 3 of the series this past week. That's going to come your way in a week or two, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, let's revisit episode 2, some of the movements, some of the things you can do to stay fit during the golf off season. This is Fit for Golf episode 2 with Michael Edwards. Hope you guys enjoy it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back for episode number 2 of the Fit for Golf series. I'm Michael Edwards, physical therapist and founder of Shore Golf Performance and Physical Therapy. Excited to, again, continue this collaboration with GolfNewsRI and bring y'all some educational content that y'all can watch and do during the off season. So today is going to be about building the foundation. And in order to build the foundation, you first must know what are the parts that go into making up that foundation. Right? The body is kind of like a house, right? So it's understanding the parts that go into the house. And it's crucial in order to understand how the body works, you must first understand the parts that make up the body. And that's going to allow for optimal function and performance, whether it's in your everyday activities in life or on the course as well. So today I'm going to take you through 8 movements that I take every single one of my players through. And all I want you to do is simply, can you perform the movement? Or can you not perform the movement? And while you're doing it, just take mental note of what do you feel? Do you have any pain, discomfort, stiffness? Whatever you may feel, just take note of it and be aware of it. Now, if you have any pain or discomfort, then that's not normal and we don't want pain, so don't push through that. But what I want you to do instead is give me a call, reach out to me, let's have a conversation, or get you in for a session. So without further ado, let's get moving. Movement number 1 is full body extension. So all I want you to do is get your feet together and arms overhead, and then you're just going to lean back as far as you can. And then what I want you to think about is the front of your hip bones should be able to clear the front of your toes, and the back of your shoulder blades should be able to clear your heels. Now you're not necessarily going to be able to see that, but I just want you to feel, again, what do you feel? Any discomfort, any pain in the back? And just note. Movement number 2 is full body rotation. So again, let's go standing, feet together. And I simply just want you to rotate as far as you can to the right, and then as far as you can to the left. And then what I'm looking for here is, say if I'm rotating to the right, you should be able to see my right shoulder from your view here. And if you can't, that tells me you're a little limited in rotation. Now this rotation comes from your spine, your hips, your shins. So this is more of a top tier or a more global movement pattern that I'm assessing to see, okay, well, if you can't perform that movement, that tells me I need to dive a little bit deeper. Is it coming from your spine? Is it coming from your hips or your shins or your ankles? Somewhere you're limiting that rotation, and that's when we want to dive deeper. So then do the same thing for your left side, and then from here, you should be able to see my left shoulder from your angle. This is the third movement, back to wall lat test. So get up to the wall. You're going to have your feet about a foot away, a foot off the wall. Ideally, your knees are directly over your heels, and then you're just going to lean back into the wall. I want you to take a golf club. You're going to place it right across your low back onto the wall. The club head's going to be up, and then your goal is going to be to do a pelvic tilt. So pelvic tilt is essentially just taking your pelvis and dumping it back. So I want you to think about pushing your low back into the wall. And when you do that, the club head's going to stay up. And then from there, ideally head against the back of the head against the wall. Thumbs are up, elbows straight. Just raise your arms as high as you can. Ideally, the thumbs should touch the wall. If they can't, that tells me you're tight through your lat. Typical compensations that I might see would be you bend the elbows to get the thumbs back, or you arch your back to get the thumbs back, but then you see the club drop. So that tells me you're arching your back and you're compensating.
2.
The fourth movement is overhead deep squat. So take your golf club, and from here, I want you to go feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to hold onto the club. Arms are going to go overhead. And then from there, I want you to just sit back into a squat as far as you can, not letting the club fall or drop down. So from this side, from the side view, same thing. Arms overhead or club overhead. Sit back into a squat. And what I'm looking for is, can you get your femur, your thigh bone, below parallel to the ground? Can you keep the club overhead without rounding the back? There's other things I'm looking for, such as weight shift. Do you deviate one side or the other? This top tier movement can tell me a lot about how you move in life, but also in the golf swing. This is the fifth movement, golf posture, thoracic spine rotations. So this movement, as well as the next two movements, are dissociation movements. So your ability to dissociate or separate your spine from your pelvis. So here, assume your golf posture stance, take your arms across your chest, and then keeping your lower body stationary, I simply want you to rotate your trunk, your torso, as far as you can, without letting the lower body move. The sixth movement is golf posture pelvic tilts. So I want you to get into your golf stance, arms across your chest, and then here, I want to see you arch your back and flatten your back. So arch your back and flatten your back. Now can you do these movements without moving your upper body? So upper body is stationary, all you're doing is moving your pelvis. Movement number 7 is golf posture pelvic rotations. So similar to the pelvic tilts are back and forth, the rotation is going to be left and right. So again, let's assume your golf posture position, arms across your chest, keep your upper body stationary, and all you're going to do is just rotate your pelvis left and right. So it's almost like your pelvis is inside of a 5-gallon bucket or a barrel, and you should be able to just get pure rotation. So I don't want to see any lateral or side-to-side movements, right? So here, I want to see just pure rotation, all while keeping your upper body stationary. Last one is called the neurodevelopmental sequence. So what is that, right? So really it's, think about when you're a baby, right, you progress through certain movements. So you first start on your back, and then you have to create the core control, or you develop the core control to roll to your stomach, then from your stomach to eventually standing. So that's what we'll go through right here. So we'll lie on your back, and then all you're going to do is, so let's go to your left side. Bend your right knee. You're going to push through that right foot, roll to your side, roll to your stomach. From here, you're going to push up, going onto your hands and your knees. Then from here, you're going to go into a tall kneeling position, so on your knees. Hold for a few seconds. Again, see what you feel. Now from here, we'll go into a half kneeling position. So we go left leg forward. I would encourage you to do both sides, kind of just see if you notice any difference one way or the other. And then from there, just come to a standing position, and then ideally finish with a single leg stance. So the reason I take you through that movement is, for me at least, I'm able to see a lot just in how you negotiate or navigate those different movements and transitions. So give those a try, see what you feel. Any pain, discomfort, or just feels weird, then give me a call. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed those movements. Take advantage of them, do them, see what you feel, but stay tuned for episode 3, where we will dive deeper into common limitations that I see people have with those movements. So I'll have exercises that pair with those movements, with the common limitations that I see. So until next time, we're in the Thanksgiving holiday. I think about blessings. So I'm thankful for the GolfNewsRI community. I'm thankful for y'all. It's a blessing to be a part of this community, and I look forward to next month. Stay tuned.
All right, and that was Fit for Golf with Michael Edwards. Thanks to Shore Golf Performance for continuing their support of GolfNewsRI. We really appreciate it. And again, like I said before the video, we just finished taping episode 3 of the series, and that will come your way in about a week or two. So stay tuned for that. So far, the series has been really fun. It's been pretty successful from our standpoint, and looking forward to continuing to build on it and continue it through kind of the winter months. So there's thanks to Michael for all his hard work and preparation and his ideas and things of that nature. Real quick here as we wrap up, a few things to keep in mind again. Survey, this will be the last weekend to do the handicap survey. If you haven't done it, feel free to go do it. Just search it on our website. We're also going to push it out this weekend. That way people get their last chance to do it, and then we'll have the data, we'll show it off in a cool, hopefully in a cool and innovative way in about a week or two, and then you can all see it and analyze it and do what you will with it. So we're super excited for that to come out, and again, this will be the last weekend to do that. Also, end of year content is coming before you know it. Kind of like I did last year. We do have a cool end of year kind of hype video / year in review video, if you will. That's going to be coming out probably the week between Christmas and New Year's. So we'll let you know on that for sure, but stay tuned. It should be cool. Lots of cool stuff this year. We did a lot of cool things. US Open, Live Golf, obviously covered the local tournaments as good, if not better than anybody in the state. So stay tuned for that as well. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got. I know the Patriots game is going to be underway here, so good luck to them tonight. It's been a wacky football season, to say the least, and that's it. That's all we got. This is the Golf News Podcast. I'm Joe Calabro. We will talk to you throughout the weekend on GolfNewsRI.com and next week as well on the Golf News Podcast. We'll talk to you later. Have a great weekend. Thanks to everybody for your support.